Hello and welcome to this nighttime taste challenge. I have two 40% alcohol Canadian blended whiskeys. 40% is your typical ABV, but some of them are higher. Uh, this is James Foxe. I can find it in some Louisiana stores, but not too commonly. But I did find this bottle, and I don't remember where. But it's around. It's not really common for this state. Might be common where you live. They haven't changed the label. Basically, have not ever changed the label since it was introduced 50 years ago, 1975, year of introduction. Canadian whiskey with natural flavors. What those flavors are, I don't know. Oh, got to get the glasses. They're in the other room. Here is Tennessee Crown Club, introduced in 2013, brand reserve, small batch, aged 7 years in ex-bourbon barrels and finished in ex-sherry casks. Interestingly, gives it a unique flavor. Has a wooden cap with a synthetic rubber stopper. It's imported by Quality International of Texas. It's part of the Select Club line. But Select Club doesn't put this one on their label, on their website. All Select Club does is show the flavored ones, which look interesting, but and I do see them around here, even in this town, about $25 a bottle. But I found this at a store on the west bank of the Mississippi River in Jefferson Parish, and it was $7.99. Couldn't figure out why it was so cheap, but they probably, since it's called Tennessee Crown Club, I get the impression that it was marketed for Tennessee. It's not made there, it's made in Canada. And it got sent here on accident. And the distributor probably told the store, well, just keep it. It's only a couple of cases. We'll eat it. We'll eat the cost. That does happen. I remember some Texas Budweiser showed up here one time. We get Budweiser made in Texas at their brewery, but it was marked with the Lone Star, a beer for Texans or whatever. And I was like, oh, I think that's the wrong bottle. It just got shipped to the wrong state. But we do get Texas Crown Club in Louisiana. I don't know why, but we do. It's the same company. I don't remember it saying age 7 years, but I haven't really looked at the bottles carefully either. Now, this is called the Grand Reserve Tennessee Crown Club. So there might be a regular Tennessee Crown Club that's maybe only age 3 years or has no age statement, and the Grand Reserve might be a special edition, which is even stranger that it was only $7.99 because you'd think it'd probably be a little higher. But hey, look, I don't go out looking for these things. I just ran across it. I stumbled across it, like literally, it was on the shelf, and I thought it was a very strange item. There were no video reviews for it. Forget that. I did the first video review for this product in the world, and probably the only series of ones because, like I said, it's so obscure. It was introduced in 2013. That was when the trademark was first used, but I don't even know if it's being made. But although that when I checked the trademark data, it didn't say anything about expired. Although that, they could have, I don't know. I don't know the answer. Okay, it's 85% corn, 15% rye. Okay, that's the composition. It's very convenient because it's on the bottle. It's not a mystery. They're putting it on the bottle to tell you how long they age it, what they age it in, and what they finish it in. I wish all whiskeys and rums or whatever would give you the details on the bottle. It's a lot more convenient. And most of them don't even tell you on the website what's in it. You just let you figure it out. James Foxe, no problem because they don't even have a website. There's no age statement. There's no website. But we know it's from Sazerac. It says it on the bottle, Sazerac.com, with their phone number and everything. And it's bottled at Buffalo Trace in Kentucky. It doesn't use that name on the label, though. It just says bottled by Sazerac in Frankfort, Kentucky. But we know that's their facility there, the famous Buffalo Trace. If you take a tour, you're not going to see that getting bottled. They probably do that weird stuff at night. If you take the tour, you'll see them bottle an Old Charter, Buffalo Trace and Eagle Rare and that kind of stuff. Same thing at the Sazerac House. You go to the Sazerac House in New Orleans, a 3-story interactive museum. Interactive meaning you can learn how to make cocktails. They have like tutorials there, and you can even taste them. They have cocktails made and you can try. They have different, like there's a rum floor, a whiskey floor. There's different areas of it. Brandy, and it's all about what they do with cocktails in New Orleans with, of course, their brands. But James Foxe, you won't see it. You might see Caribou Crossing, which is their fancy pants Canadian whiskey, which is like $60 a bottle. They'll push that. Can't blame them. I mean, I'd do the same thing. The museum is free. Buffalo Trace, still, I checked, the tour is free samples. So, of course, it ends at the gift shop. You know how that works. Same thing at the Sazerac House. The tour is free, but it ends at the gift shop. So, obviously, they're encouraging you and hoping you'll buy a bunch of overpriced, expensive apparel, glasses, and all that. And that's how all tours are. We know. Okay, so appearance, they're the same. They're amber. Could they have caramel color added? Yes. Could they both have flavoring added? Yes. This one's just telling you they're adding it. The other one is aloof to that. So I was reading the Canadian law, the current law yesterday. I finally found it, and I was like, okay, it's very simple these days. The law used to be paragraphs long. Now it's like a sentence almost, basically. Has to be at least 40% alcohol when it goes in the bottle. Has to be aged at least 3 years. It has to be distilled, blended, and aged in Canada. It didn't say bottled. And it has to use grains, or I noticed what they said, products of grains. I'm thinking, whoa. So they could be using corn syrup to make whiskey, because that's a product from corn, the syrup. And it says it very clearly on the label, on the regulation. And furthermore, it says may contain natural flavors. May contain, not must contain. May. That's an option. Now the current regulation no longer mentions that 9.09% rule. It just said flavoring. Doesn't say how much. Doesn't say they have to put it on the label or anything like that. So it's very interesting that Canada has gotten very loose with their rules in some ways. Now, can't have any unaged grain spirits. It all has to be aged at least 3 years. In the United States, you can make blended whiskey and use up to 80% unaged distillate. Can you believe it? But anyway, different countries, different rules. This won't be much of a challenge because I think I'll be able to pick up the flavoring, which is like a vanilla. To me, it tastes like they're adding vanilla, but they do say flavors, plural, so it's probably something else. Don't know what it is. And I think when they add like sherry, like actual sherry, or even actual bourbon, I've read articles where they say they'll add bourbon to the Canadian whiskey. That's considered a flavoring. Well, it's all natural, so that's interesting how that would be considered a flavoring. No need to have the lamps off. I've shown you the product. I put the lamps off because it makes so much glare. If I show you the whiskey, you can't see it. It's just like reflection and all. So now that's no longer necessary. Okay. And people ask me about this calendar back here. That's a calendar, each month. But each month has a famous artwork on it from the Renaissance days, usually famous artists, and it'll be some biblical theme. It was very interesting. And you can learn about the artists and so forth, a little bit about the artists and all of that. Okay. Grain, that's it. Just grains, cereal grains. I mean, it's as simplified as I can tell you. Same story here. So aroma's not an issue and the appearance is not an issue. So they're even. Now, price is an issue. Not in my case because I got them so cheap. Sometimes in Louisiana, they'll have James Foxe on a super sale. Don't know why to get it cheap. One time I found this. It was $3.99 for the full amount. I don't know why, but I bet you I bought it. I don't think this current bottle was. Yeah, you know what this current bottle was? $4.99 at Elio's Wine Warehouse, which is over there in I was saying Central City, Uptown, New Orleans, close to Tulane University. $4.99, and then if you bought a whole case, 12 bottles, it was $50 even. Don't know why you'd want to buy a whole case, but Tulane started cracking down on liquor on the campus, though, so could have impacted their sales. But they have a lot of students live off campus in these. It's private ownership. And I'm sure they don't have rules except for don't tear the place up and don't make loud parties at night. You know, bothering people. So, $4.99. The regular price for this is about $11. You say, but that's still super cheap for a full-size bottle of Canadian whiskey. It is cheap, but it's not super cheap because I can go to Walmart right now when they open in less than 30 minutes, and I can buy a full bottle of Canadian whiskey for $7.92. Rich and rare. It's kind of like James Foxe, about the same kind of ho-hum. But a lot of people don't mind ho-hum. I see the food they eat is very bland. I see the drinks they have, they're very, ordinary. So, hey, it sells like crazy, actually. Okay, taste time. But the normal price for the Tennessee Crown Club is, like I say, about $25. And that's for the ones I've seen. This one is a Grand Reserve. So it could be more than that. But I can't track it down. Can't find anybody selling it. Herbie in India says, good morning. Good morning to you. That tastes a little flavored. There's a little vanilla, a little nut oil, but it's not heavily dosed. Some of these Sazerac products, it's like they went berserk. Almost like they're pranking people. Like, let's add a lot of flavor and see if they gag, like maybe they bored at the distillery or something. Kevin Johnson says, are you excited for the regular season of the NFL, the National Socialist Football League? A little bit excited. The Saints, I'm figuring 7 wins, 10 losses. So I don't know how excited I can get, but I'm going to watch, of course, watch the games. Preseason, I can't stomach, but I mean, I'll read the article in the paper about what happened, but to watch it, And I saw those empty seats in the Superdome look like it was half full. So, a lot of people are the same way. They're like, I'm not going to look at that. But now once the regular season starts, September 7th, I guarantee you the place is going to be full. Okay, and the game's probably a sellout. Maybe they'll have a few holdback tickets. Sometimes the Saints send me an email and say, we got a few singles if you want to buy them. I never do it. But this product here seems like it might have a little sherry finish, So right now I have 5 wins, 1 loss, and 2 ties. 5, 1, and 2. Interestingly, the one I got wrong was against Crown Royal. Couldn't tell it apart from Crown Royal, if you can believe it, but I couldn't. And my friend David, he did a duo review with me yesterday. I'll post that eventually this next month, actually. And he was saying, you thought that was better than Crown Royal? Crown Royal? I said, yeah. I didn't think it was better. I couldn't tell it apart. But we had already had 4 beers. Well, we split them, so that means 2 each. But still, then you're tasting the whiskey, so you might get over exuberant in what you say. I see James Foxe winning this challenge. I'm not sure. But it will win by default if I can't tell them apart, considering it's half the price in a normal pricing. Hello, Ronald, says Drewski Brewski. Hello to you. Thanks for watching. This camera gets so confused. Usually when it's dark. It's like darkness makes it don't even with the lights on, don't want to focus. You know, I'm a little perplexed at this point because I thought the flavoring would just glare out, you know, just be like vanilla, 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 nut oil, but no, not happening. Maybe it's this one. So they are very close. Ultimately, there's not much difference. I'm pretty sure James Foxe is 3 years old. That's it. It ain't some long age thing. Because if it was 7, they'd put it, right? If it was an older age product, they would tell you that. They're not going to hide it. So, you know, you figure in 3 years. This one, they're loud and proud, 7 years aged. And they talk about the special barrels and all that. So, but ultimately, it's not really making much of a difference. I have to admit that. So I think James Foxe does win by default. You're correct. It's not better than the other one, but then on the other hand, it's not worse, which means that since it's half the price, at least half the price, you got the win. I can find this in the bottles, like obviously I have one, and I can find this in the handles, the big jug bottles. But those are plastic, which doesn't suit some people. I mean, I guess a lot of people who don't care, but they obviously don't because they sell Seagram's VO all day long in the big jug bottles, plastic, and people buy that off the shelf like it's about to stop being made. They just running by in it all the time. So there's your answer on that. When Dixie wouldn't keep it stocked by the cases if it was a slow seller, it wouldn't happen. Okay, so they were careful with the flavoring. They didn't go buck wild like with some of these that I have, like Grand Legacy. I mean, that thing is like, are you kidding me? I'm not saying the flavoring is bad, vanilla and so forth. It's just they went overboard with it. Here they were very careful, or like people like to say, demure. I like to say that word too. All right. So anyhow, I'm going to say this is James Foxe. And I got it. 6, 1, and 2. That's put me up pretty good now. Out of 9 challenges, 6 correct. Well, actually 7, because you split the ties, the 2 ties. 7, but then it's another one wrong. So, but that's okay. 7 out of 9. Can't complain. Can't complain. I thought it was going to be worse. 78%. Oh, now I have a lot of other ones coming up that are similar to this. I got Canadian Hunter, very similar. And really practically identical. Not quite, but in a practical sense, you may as well. I would never buy one over the other, except if I considered price. I'm just telling you that clearly. Now, Canadian Hunter, I can still find it for $9.99 if that's a believable thing, but it is. But like I said, I found this about 3 or 4 years ago for $4.99 now. Ultimately, most of these come down to price. Doesn't always happen. Now, with the Crown Royal Special Reserve, oh, no, I mean, that's not even going to be a contest. That's going to be a wipeout. That's $45 a bottle. Everywhere. If you see it for $41.99, you found something. So, you know, that's not going to be a challenge. It'll be a challenge in name only. 40 Creek's not going to be a challenge because it has an unusual flavor, which I like, but it tastes like pancake syrup. I know they're adding flavor into it. They don't say it on the bottle. I would be shocked if they're not. But it's popular, you know, sort of popular. So it's not upsetting me, especially when I got it for half price at Walmart. They got rid of 40 Creek. Winn-Dixie still sells it. Mathern still sell it. But Winn-Dixie, I mean, Walmart didn't want it. Probably didn't move. And they sold it for $9. So $19.99 bottles sold for $9. Of course, I bought it. But that's coming up later. All right. Well, thanks for watching. The winner, the clear and present winner, James Foxe. And how about that? Not a better product. but not worse, but it's half price, so it automatically wins. Can you still find really great deals on spirits in your neck of the woods? Certainly can. Inflation has even hit pretty hard here in West Virginia. I know it's sad. Why just this week, just last week, sorry, this is the first day of the new week. Last week, I found bottles of Patty's Irish whiskey for $9.99, $9.99, $11.01 after tax, $11.01 after tax. I didn't buy it because I got it already. And I've had it, I experienced it, don't need it again. But my friend David was like, I'm on that. I want it. Can you pick it up for me? I said, sure. And he was over here yesterday and he paid me back. He said, I'm not giving you a penny though. I said, all right. Anyway, I know it's insane. Now, why would it be that price? I guess it wasn't moving. And Matherns will do that. They'll call their collection. They'll go through and be like, he can look it up on his computer and it's like, that thing, those 3 bottles been sitting there since 2018. It's gone. And they'll just kill it. And of course, the distributor is going to come and say, well, look, I got something that's going to do better. Let's bring this in. He might not really want to do that. Like, well, but he'll try, all right. You too. You have a good day too. Y'all take care now. So cheers to James Foxe. I would not actually have thought it would win, but I got fooled, didn't I? And I got it right. So that's a benefit. But y'all take care and see y'all. I'm planning tomorrow afternoon to do another one, and it'll be Canadian Hunter, which does have a following. And then there's also Canadian Hunter Rye, which you barely ever see, but it exists. All right, y'all take care. Bye-bye, everybody.